Elton, thanks so much for joining us. Let's just get started, shall we? Does a request for additional time reflect a lack of preparedness on the part of the defense, or can it be regarded as a valid need to carefully examine complex evidence?
When one looks at the case in totality, there was a large volume of evidence that was laid already. And obviously, this morning in court, it's approximately roughly 60,000 pages that Advocate Mnisi had to go through between, I think it's the 5th of February up until today, to actually now consult, make sure that he gets his argument and everything. One needs to look at it holistically, and then you'll see it might sound like a long time, but it is not really that long because of the amount of holidays and weekends that goes in between this. And it won't necessarily reflect a lack of preparedness for the trial. But he was asking, and he was meticulously trying to get through the material to actually ensure that accused number one is given a proper defense. And I think, yes, the judge was a little bit irritated with him. But I mean, if you want to make sure that you give the person you're representing the best possible chance of putting his case before court, then you must make sure that you go through the records with extra caution and accurately, so that you know exactly what is the version that you're going to put to the state's witnesses.
With a new advocate now representing the accused following the death of his former advocate, what are the legal implications for the defense?
The legal implications, or let us say the legal implications for accused number one, because obviously now he's got a new representative. And the new representative need to actually try and read the record and understand what was the chain of thought of the late Advocate Mgomezulu, when he was now actually putting the accused number one's version, to the state's witnesses to see what was he relying on and what was his angle that he was taking to say, this is my client's defense. Advocate Charles Mnisi, who's now the previous was the attorney for accused number three, or the representative, now takes number one. He needs to now unravel this and try and see if there's additional questions or evidence that needs to be led, and questions that needs to be put to the state witnesses, in order to actually make sure that this client's defense is put to the witnesses of the state. And then he will bring supporting evidence to actually say, I'm rebutting that what the state's witnesses said. So for accused number one, it puts him a little bit in a spot of bother, because there was also hints by Advocate Mnisi, if the court is going to push him in a corner, then he would not take up the brief of representing accused number one. Then it will mean accused number one will be unrepresented, and it will further delay the trial, because we need to get a legal representative for him on board.
And is it reasonable for Advocate Mnisi to request more time to prepare? You know, what considerations should be taken into account when determining if sufficient time has been given for legal representation, given all that's going on with Sibiya's defense?
The thing is, like, there's not a close list of what you look at. You need to look at what is happening in the trial. And the one thing that stands out is that Advocate Mnisi was there, involved in the trial from the beginning, from when it started. So he had an opportunity to already cross-examine the witnesses, but he cross-examined the witnesses based on the information that was given to him by accused number three. So he was working with accused number three's version, putting certain questions to the state's witnesses and making sure that he covers the basis of accused number three. And he highlighted that to say that he wasn't paying attention to look at where accused number one is implicated in certain things, to say, I'm going to put cross-examination to that. The judge wanted to take him on that route to say, but you did cross-examine all the state's witnesses as if you were like representing. And he said, no, I was doing that in line with my instructions from accused number three. I cannot now go in based on what I have of accused number three and say that it was sufficient for accused number one, because different things tie different accused to different offenses. So it becomes a little bit complex, and one needs to look at it from that angle and say there cannot be factors, but obviously Section 35 of the Constitution say the accused must be given the benefit of the doubt to get a legal representative. He's entitled to do so. And obviously, I know if the court, if the presiding officer, Judge Ratha is pushing Advocate Mnisi too much, he's not going to take up that matter and then say, then he will be asked to be excused as representative for accused number one. They can find a different legal representative.
Well, and do you believe justice can still be effectively served in cases that face significant delays? I mean, what are the potential consequences of a prolonged trial such as this, that's quite high profile on the overall judicial process?
It sort of half creates the impression that justice delayed is justice denied, but also, like I spoke to some of your colleagues on News Central on previous occasions, in my view, and this is respectfully my view, the 5 accused that's currently in the dock is not the only persons that needs to be in that dock. In order for us to actually get to the truth of this case, they needed to charge also that 7 people that was in the house. I think by now we would have been closer to the answer as to who killed Senzo Meyiwa. And for me, I don't think these 5 guys are the perpetrators. Somebody else did it, but obviously we'll have to wait and see what the National Prosecuting Authority does in actually bringing. But I believe that if they went on that other docket, and I know your colleagues asked me on a previous occasion about 375, and put those accused together with these ones, I think we would have been far down the line than where we currently are.
Well, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us, Elton. Elton joins us all the way live from South Africa, giving us a bit of insight on Sibiya, the footballer, or rather the famed footballer, his death. Once again, thank you for joining us.